A long day. A couple of long days after finally deciphering the murder. I'd lost my apartment. Even though I got paid, it wasn't fast enough, and my previous tenant moved me out of my apartment. Now, I'm coming to this basement as my new area of rest. Unfortunate, truly, but nothing you can do about it. And although not as comfortable and personal as my previous place, it wasn't much, but it was definitely home. Complete bare and empty apartment. Just one bed, small space, just for me. With possibly a bathroom, I'm hoping. Oh, those are the lights for my room. Where are the lights on this room? This room doesn't even have lights. Oh, wait a minute. You put them. This is the worst placement for a light switch. And the bathroom is completely empty. Not even a toilet. So with this, I think it's time for me to find some work. Something outside. And although people outside seem to be not very even better than I am, it's still better than nothing. So I head out to do possibly some dining, but also to look for job listings. Yes, I am a detective, but most of the things I do is as freelance, at least at the start. I see some people require help detaining suspects, a couple of photography jobs, or even gathering evidence. All of this for the normal detective job. But what could I possibly start with? Of course, very likely start with the highest paying and easier jobs. I'm not gonna do anything crazy, just gathering some information. Possibly the photography one. Yes, that one will be perfect. Photography. Like this one. 900? Why not? Destruction. I'm a detective, not a muscle job. 800 for another picture. There's not a lot of options, I guess, but better than nothing, so I'll accept this one. There's no other details then. Once you take the job, you shall be getting more information. What type of picture do they want? Do they want me to take a picture of somebody cheating on somebody else? Somebody skipping work when they say they were supposed to be in bed or doing something different? Ask staff for takoyaki. Staff. I imagine staff on the same place? On the same diner? Why not? I head over to the one and only employee in this place to ask about this new job. Hello, Takuachi. I am here about a job. The information on my target. Gotcha. Oh, so we are doing illegal things, huh? Don't want anything to do with it. She actually even left immediately. Okay, so this is the place I'm supposed to be looking for a briefcase. Alright. I haven't been long in the city, so this is certainly not a distinguished place I've passed by. Maybe I have, but I never noticed. So let's see. I think this is it. After several hours of walking and deciphering, I think I finally found the spot of the briefcase. I just need to figure out where exactly this briefcase is gonna be hidden. Definitely not behind this pillar. It doesn't look like the picture cares for this pillar. It is more close to this one section. Behind trash bags? No, definitely not. How hidden would somebody put the briefcase though? How secretive is this information? It's been a couple of minutes of me searching when suddenly I get a scanner report about a murder. A new murder case. Of course, in a city of this size, there is always bound to something illicit of this nature to happen. I had to go and explore 203 Lambda systems and collect the case resolution from City Hall. But wait a minute. The phone is ringing. We meet at last. Who is this? I got a corpse going cold here. Is the killer calling me? You wanna make some crows? Come clean it up. He's giving me money to do his cleanup. I mean, the money wouldn't do bad. I got a buddy needs disappearing. It is the same place where I've just been called to. A new murder case. Hide the body. This was a crazy situation. I needed to get rid of a body on the same place this murderer just committed the crime. Was I gonna do this? Forget about the briefcase for a moment. My freelancing jobs were not as important as that. I was a detective first. And solving murders was my calling. So I need to go to City Hall, gather a case, and start investigating this atrocious situation. Which, quite chilling. The murderer is asking me to dispose of the body. What type of ask was this? How did he know I was gonna be sitting there? Was he looking at me? Did he know I was already on this freelance job? Was this a setup? Was I walking into something I was probably not gonna be ready for? Without wasting any more time, I head out to find 203 Lambda systems. I needed to find the same information as I did previously on the other case. I need to find out the name of the killer. Arrest possibly the killer. Last time I didn't do it. This time I was most definitely going to. Figure out where he lived and locate the murder weapon. The place isn't that far off from City Hall. I arrived there a little bit timely and not too far long from when I received the call. It is very likely by the time I get there, there's gonna be already enforcers blocking the crime scene. How was I supposed to get that body out without being seen? An enforcer was always right outside. I didn't have any type of sedative to make him go down. And not only that, what if the person had a loved one and they were walking around the apartment outside like in the previous murder? Oh, of course, enforcers were already here. And as I assumed, yes, the person possibly had somebody else living with them. Alright, I don't need your name. Have you seen anything unusual other than seeing a dead body in front of there? You did see someone acting strange? They were of skinny build. I saw them today at Kearney Boulevard around 1:45 a.m. They were nearby Kahanau-Nanui Street. Alright, I couldn't arrest this person. They were in their own, not gonna give me their name. As usual, these citizens will never tell me anything. But I needed to get inside this apartment. Oh, of course, she locked me out. And I am not about to go and fight this person like I did with the previous one. What are you doing, lady? Are you leaving the place? You shouldn't be in a crime scene, you know? I don't understand why the enforcer is not enforcing the rules. Do you have some leverage with the enforcer? She seemed to... oh, finally head out. I open, look around, making sure nobody is looking at me. Although probably I should scan, do my detective work. Look at the footprints. Size 7. Size 11. This could be of the lady, or it could be of the killer, or the victim itself. The important part of this stage was to gather as much information as I could. After scanning around, gathering a couple of footprints and fingerprints, which are very important, how could I connect the killer to or the victim to anything. I had 3 different types of fingerprints. One of them probably very likely from the suspect, another the victim, and someone else, the person that just left the apartment. But I needed to get in. Oh, the enforcer didn't seem to mind, or he wasn't looking at me. I was already in, so why not just continue going forward with the investigation. Aha! There it is. The body. Completely splatter of blood around. There were symbols in the floor. This was not a normal killing. This was definitely different from my previous case. This was intentional. And not only that, but it had vibes of serial killer. Why would somebody paint this around the body? So I look in the person. There was an entry wound. He was definitely not stabbed. He was shot. Not a personal thing. It was just very cold. A quick couple of shots and running away from the scene. This had happened around 2 hours ago. Was still fresh. Body not quite as cold. So at least I knew the information. I had this victim. No name. But I had a height, build, hair, shoe size, which very likely is the one that I gather outside. He had been violently shot to death with a pistol or revolver around 2:30. So definitely an hour and a half ago. Did the person that left the building before had arrived before that or earlier than that? A lot of questions that I could only keep on doing to myself, as I had no information, solid information to confirm. I know in every house of every citizen they have a place where they keep their very, very personal information, which normally for some reason most people tend to keep it in their closet. If the victim had also died from a bullet, there were supposed to be casings lying around, which I should definitely try and find. But first, oh, there we go, casings, expended 8mm cartridge, used to murder our poor victim. And this, most unlikely, had fingerprints on them. Aha! Fingerprint type AG. This was the fingerprint of our killer. Our sadistic killer. The person that took away this poor victim's life away. With this information tied together, it was a good time to find more on the files. There was a fingerprint tied to the closet. Was the person hiding in this closet when this whole thing happened? The sadistic person just hiding in here waiting for their victim. Like a hunter seeking for their prey. It definitely seemed like it. There were a lot of fingerprints of the killer inside the closet. But now it was important for me to look for the files. This personal information contained a variety of things, like names, who lived where and why, for how long, where they worked. We had Owen Morrell, who could possibly be the victim. They worked in Purple Limited, definitely a place I will need to go and check out later. Next file had information from a medical officer, Hickory Ward, about Owen Morrell. Probably some prescription necessary for the person to survive on a day-to-day basis. It seemed they had high blood pressure and needed a to contain their diabetes, as well as an insulin injection. Definitely the person was not living on the best of health terms, but it wasn't anything that couldn't be helped with a couple of medicines. Next file. It seems we had the name of the second person living here. Elona Harjo, which was probably the lady I stumbled upon, as the enforcer was close enough the crime scene. Could this person also be implied on the murder of the victim? Or was this the victim? Was it Owen or Arjo? Owen also had a prescription for his glasses. Right eye, left eye. It seems the guy was completely blind on his left eye. Probably the side where the killer attacked him. Maybe he didn't even have his glasses, so he couldn't even see the approach of danger. Quite the unfortunate situation for this victim. Or it could be Arjo. As I said, I had no clue still. I still had no clue who the victim was. One of these two. There we go. Certificate of birth. At least now I could actually tie down to who my victim was. Owen Morrow was the victim in this case. I was definitely sure Arjo was the lady I stumbled upon on my entrance. Poor Owen Morrow. Lost at just a very young 23 years of age. Unfortunate situation, truly, but I could only reminisce about his situation. All the many years he was no longer able to fulfill. Very tragic of his life lost so soon. But now it was time for me to find the killer. Could it be that Arjo was the killer? The lover. Wait. I could be stepping into something that I was just making assumptions. They probably could not be together. Who knows? They could be not a situationship, a friendship, or just roommates. I needed more information, that was for sure. Oh, dear Owen, I got your note. Sorry, but I can't hand over surveillance footage to anyone who asked. I ain't seen no tall male stalking through. I got a real consent put in form to my office building supervisor. So Owen had been feeling someone was following him, or he felt someone stalking him. A tall male. So our suspect could be this stalker. Was it a stalker that was in love with this man? A stalker that was jealous of him, of the life he had? A stalker that was just looking to kill for no reason at all, but killing. This was the passcode of Alona. Alright, 7787. Good information, because I needed, if probably likely they had a PC, I needed to investigate that drive. But I had the work ID. So now I had a face, and it was definitely the person I stumbled upon as I entered. She worked on Beta Industries processing floor. Foreman. Alright. I had somewhere else to go and look out for. At least I had a link of information. The work ID had that fingerprint, which was another fingerprint found in the place. But she was not the killer. Her fingerprint was not the same of the one found in the casings. Unless she touched them stupidly. Hopefully not. She was a smart woman who left it alone and decided just to call the enforcer and let the police work it out. Which they are not. I am. But this information was a good indication that she was off the hook. At least for now. Someone, Mr. Owen Morrow, left a note indicating more that somebody was stalking him. Unfortunately, it made no sense. Why would you put this little piece of note in your fridge Unless he was thinking that the person was coming inside to look at his own stuff. So he thought maybe he will see this note if the stalker ever went into his home. Which is kinda creepy considering he already had an indication that the person who was stalking him was already coming through to his own apartment. Now I also had the work rotation of Mr. Owen Morrow. Not that it was gonna be really that helpful other than to know when his other co-workers were in the office. That way I could go and sneak in when nobody was looking in the area. I find their personal office. It seems this Owen and Harlona were together. I couldn't find a second bedroom, so they were likely partners. Now in this work office, I found their personal shoes. Interesting area to put them. Unless these were their loafers to move around. And a couple of drawers with different letters. Come to dinner next Friday. Got a divine bottle of Shantae. Bring Owen. Okay, couple of invitations to go out together with friends. Nothing out of the ordinary, though the handwriting could definitely need some work. Probably a doctor who wrote it. I turned on the PC and tried to get into both users' identification. 7787. Though this was, I believe, of Alona. But better try. Yeah, definitely not of this user. There we go. Password acquired. I now have the profile. Connecting. More information. Let's see any email that could be strange. She was asking for a raise. A 5%. Not bad. And confirm reservations for champagne with a friend that asked them to meet over there. But that's it. Nothing out of place. It was all ordinary. So our significant other from the victim was really not interested in other things than just daily life. I continue looking because I realized I didn't actually look everywhere. Oh, there we go. 5720. The passcode I needed to open up Owen Morrell's computer. And we had a journal. I saw the creeper game. This time in Clovecat Burger Joint. Swear it. Was the same person as last week. Didn't get a good look at him. But when I do, better start praying. On Tuesday, didn't sleep last night. Work was awful. Couldn't concentrate. And Theo is starting to notice. Walked a long way home. Didn't see anyone. So he was being followed for quite a long time. And he felt this stalker was going to come into their home very soon. Because he said he was going to be ready for this person. It seems his co-workers were also starting to notice his strange, demeanor. Let's play. Mit VENL. Let's play. Was this left behind by the killer? Things were starting to click. This was definitely not an act of pure randomness. The killer was leaving behind trails, and there was only one type of killer that will leave trails behind. A serial killer. I decided to go one more time into this computer to enter Mr. Owen Morrell's information. And gather any other remaining details that could help me move on from this investigation. Because right now I had nothing else other than their workplaces and possible connections. But nothing that could lead me to the killer. Who was the killer? Was just a random stalker, which would make this whole investigation certainly impossible to solve. I had at least the fingerprint of Owen, I could go to his workplace and figure out what happened. Last time, on the last case, going to the workplace kind of connected me to more information. The same coworker knew about who was attacking the victim and then became a victim themselves. I could do the same. I think I have a secret admirer, but I'm not sure who. I'm sure that someone has been watching me from afar. A stranger with what? More indications of him being followed, but no further information other than a tall, thin, skinny man. At least I knew it was a man. Mora was very interested in quality fish, it seems. Tax-free from Bender. Reina, I feel sick. I think Helena is seeing someone else. I don't know what to do. Wait a minute. Could it be that the partner was seeing somebody else? Was she cheating on him? Was this person cheating on the victim? And whoever was with the partner's victim sent someone else to kill Owen? Man, so many questions, but how was I gonna solve this? It could be I had multiple possible situations. I could have a love situation, a love crime, or it could be just a serial killer. Or if it was a love crime, Mrs. Harjo was making it seem like a serial killer came in to kill Mr. Owen. So many questions. What I could definitely do was to head over to Mr. Owen's house and figure out Mr. Owen's workplace and figure more information from there. Maybe the co-workers knew more. Last time that certainly helped. I could do the same thing to the Mrs. workplace and figure out who was behind this atrocious murder. Was it a setup? Was it a cleanup? Were they trying to just kill Mr. Morrell and make it look like a serial killer, a random killing, which would make it even more difficult for investigators to find out the truth? But not to me. I was gonna find out the truth, and they were not gonna get away with it. After getting out of the apartment of Mr. Owen Morrell, I decided to head out to the Purple Limited workplace of the guy, the victim. I was hoping to find the place emptied. That way I could just get in through the vents and find out more information about Mr. Owen directly from his co-workers' computers, information. You never know, you might even find out that fingerprints were the same as the ones you found in the apartment as the killer. Which will be an interesting thing to figure out. It would be kinda stupid from the killer to kill his own co-worker. But everything was possible. Criminals were stupid from time to time. Getting to Purple Limited at 7 AM, it was very likely that people already about to head to work and they were very close to getting into this place, so I should probably just head in without hesitation, although I could be found out while I'm trying to figure out how to get through this place. 7:03 AM. I could knock and figure if somebody was already there. If so, then right now was not the time to go through vents. Or I could ask the person working here if they could give me access to the place. Or I could head over to the workplace of Harjo, which I did. And, oh, what are you two doing behind over here? Don't you have an apartment to do this type of stuff? People, come on. Have standards. In the middle of a junkyard? Come on. So, Beta Industries. Could I come in? Nope. It was trespassing. Alright. Well, not gonna do that then. I'll just have to knock and see if they let me in on their own. If not, I could always use the vents. Hello, unknown citizen. What is your name? Or do you know this person? Mind your own business. Alright, so we're gonna start with the bad food again. So you're not gonna give me anything, right? Even if I ask you your name? I could give you money. No, this guy's not interested in that. So he was definitely not gonna let me in. Nor give me any information. This was a very useless situation. Yeah, completely uncooperative, which is fine, understood. There were always other ways of getting into this place. Ventilation system. But now it made me wonder, if it was a love situation, a love crime, could this guy be the guy making the murders for Mrs. Arjo? Was this the lover? Could it be? Maybe that's why he was so uncooperative? It could be, it was possible. But I needed to find a way to get in. And it seemed this place was quite the fortress. And these two were still doing weird stuff in the corner. I'm just gonna leave and look around the building to find the ventilation entrance, which didn't seem likely. This place was built to never be entered, only by those are authorized to do it. Nope, no entrance at all. It seems this will be a dead end. There was no entrance from the outside. I had to trespass and probably be chased around and not have a peaceful time searching the computer. So at least from this side, it looked like it was a dead end.